Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish. Thanks for tuning in. A lot of stuff going on in the world of wrestling. Well, let's start off with Raw. Last week we had the return of Seth Rollins to start the show off. Of course, we had Damian Priest interrupting that. A little bit better promo from Priest, not great still. I still can't figure out if this guy's a heel or a face. We've had a crutch to Maxine's gimmick when she came out with the Chad Gable's crew. I like the Pat McAfee comment he made. What was it? Self-responsibility disorder. I like that a lot. Let's see. We had of course, during that match, we had Braun Strowman defeating Chad Gable. We had Otis finally losing out on Chad Gable after he was blaming everybody except himself for loss. Referring back to that awesome Pat McAfee comment. We had a backstage segment. We had Priest confronting Finn about the key card that was given to Dom by Liv. Be interesting to see where they go with that. Is Finn gonna turn his back on the Judgment Day? I wonder if he's gonna use the guise of always protecting Dom type thing. And yes, by the way, I did see the Instagram segment with Liv and the Haktui shining up her belt, which I thought was hilarious. But and then we had Liv coming out wearing Dom's purple cow vest that he was looking for. We had a little bit of tension between Braun Breaker and Sammy. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. We ended up having later on, Breaker versus Sheamus at one point. I think that might have been SmackDown. I don't know. But yeah, we had the quitting of Drew McIntyre, which later on we'll see didn't last very long. And that we had Jey Uso qualifying for Money in the Bank. All the matches, though, it seems like were kind of secondary, which is kind of weird. But past couple of weeks, the backstage stuff and the storylines have been kind of trumping the matches in a lot of ways. There hasn't been a whole lot of, great wrestling in a lot of ways. I mean, there's been some, but once again, the matches have been secondary to the storytelling. The storylines have been what really has been keeping the shows interesting, because I can't even remember all that many matches, to tell you the truth. Taking us to the end of the show. We've been getting the QR codes for weeks now regarding, the Wyatt Six, kind of leaving us little Easter eggs and little clues here and there. We had the lights go out. We had the lantern out there with Nikki creeping out to it. Had a bunch of people laid out. I know obviously Chad Gable was one of them, and I think they're referring to something along the lines of they took out people who had turned their back on their family. So I'm guessing a lot of the people that were laid out were people who had turned their back on their faction or family or whatnot. Because I couldn't tell most of them. I've heard that Braun Strowman was one of them, which would make complete sense. Would instantly kind of make them, make him, I should say, a possible nemesis in the future of this clan. They're taking because it seems like they're taking out heels and baby faces. Are these guys going to be a tweener? And I kind of think that's where they should lie, because coming out, it's going to be almost impossible for them not to turn babyface with the love and admiration that Bray had, and what Bo, I should say, is going to face I can't see them not becoming baby faces, or at least kind of tweeners. They'll probably go after baby faces to start off with, but I don't think they're going to stay that way very long. All this kind of led to the back, and the emergence of Uncle Howdy, who I believe he had Bray, either written on his glove or whatnot. Pretty gruesome scene. I was kind of surprised at how well they did this. I mean, it looked like a horror movie with the sparks coming down, the lighting, everything. Just, I thought the production was great. I know some podcasters have an issue with the whole blending supernatural with wrestling, but this has been this way for so many years. I mean, Undertaker did it brilliantly. Bray has done it brilliantly. Or I should say had done it brilliantly in the past. And real violent, gruesome scene. I love the Mass. I do. I think they're brilliant. I really think they're great. The reference to the Bastion brothers with Eric Rowan was excellent. You know, I hope that they keep tying in little things of the past like that. You know, we had Joe Gacy as Uskus. We had Nikki as Abby, you know, and millions, thousands of other podcasters have covered this by this point. But then we had Dexter Loomis as the Buzzard, which I absolutely love. I'm so glad to see him back, and he's changed his look dramatically. He's got long hair, a beard, and just looks like a completely different person. His wife has supposedly filed for divorce. I don't know if that's a real thing or if that's kayfabe. We'll see. You know, we had Eric Rowan as the Brer Rabbit. Love it. I absolutely love it. Like I said, I know a lot of podcasts been destroying this. I love it. I don't know. I love that element in wrestling with the supernatural type thing and with Undertaker and whatnot. I don't know if it's because of my own belief system and what I believe in. Maybe that helps it tie in. I always kind of see that element as the ultimate evil, kind of. So and I do believe in, you know, certain elements of the supernatural are real. So the blending of that with wrestling always entertains me immensely. I know, like I said, a lot. I'm glad that they did leave this at the end as a separate kind of from the other aspects of the show, because I think it's something they're going to have to keep separate in some ways, you know, as not to kind of break, I want to say break that fourth wall, because there have been a lot of wrestlers that have been struggling to kind of integrate that realism. People like CM Punk come to mind, who blend real things with wrestling so beautifully and make that work. They should be separate. These should be separate things, you know, almost like it's a separate show almost. Maybe they can put it on a separate show. I don't know, but I do find both elements highly entertaining. And that's just me, you know. That's my opinion. That's what I like. So everybody to each their own. I love both elements. You know, we kind of already know that this is entertainment. That kayfabe has been destroyed. It's been crushed long time ago. So let's not kid ourselves and kind of think that this is real. I do like when realism is blended with storylines and elements of the wrestling, because it does suspend that disbelief. It does create a suspension of disbelief, but you can achieve that through the supernatural elements too, I think, because if you're watching a good horror movie, all the good horror movies are going to you're going to have that suspension of disbelief, where you can believe that these things either might actually happen or within the world that you're watching might actually happen. I don't know. Like I said, that's just my own personal fault. My own personal fault, yeah. That's my own personal beliefs, and I was highly entertained by this. So I guess I'm the target audience, and I hope they don't blow this, because he had a great run right out of the gates, as far as I'm concerned, like I said, and let's not drop the ball, One of the worst things they could probably do is have Bo talk, because I think he's so sympathetic. Maybe they can have Joe Casey talk, because he's incredible on the mic. So maybe that's where you go with this, and have him kind of a pseudo leader or kind of lieutenant. Uncle Howdy can, and I hate that name. I hope they change it. Sorry, because I keep thinking of Captain Howdy in Strangeland every time I hear that. But shout out to Dee Snider. But yeah, I don't know if Bo is going to be able to achieve that kind of cult leader charisma that his brother had. What might be useful when eventually they have to turn these guys babyface, might be Bo speaking out and breaking his silence and kind of going into the whole continuation of his brother's legacy. I think that might work, if he could kind of take that mantle. Because he did the Bo Leaf stuff, and I know it's going to sound outlandish and like it would never work, but if you can integrate some of that into what he does, and because he kind of did that, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of did for that self-help guru kind of philosophy, which reminds me of sometimes of cult leaders. I mean, there are many people out there in religious areas that are religious, that have their own churches and followings that can use that charisma. And if he could even do a version of the Firefly Funhouse, which integrates that former character into a charismatic kind of self-help dude that, while integrating some of the Bray Wyatt cult leader properties, I think he could make something that's really chilling and really, really kind of might be really good if done right. So he might be able to pull that off with the right creative direction. Whether or not he has that, I don't know, but if they can get the right people writing that, he might be able to pull that off. But it's going to have to be a situation where they're basically turning the faction babyface at that point. But he could probably do some real chilling stuff, because some of the creepiest people out there are the ones that kind of that present that real happy-go-lucky, charismatic kind of always smile on their face, which is kind of what Bray was parodying in the Funhouse stuff with the Mr. Rogers kind of deal. He could Bo, I think if he did it right, he could really hit a home run with this, and if, heaven forbid anybody from creative might be listening, but you can take that idea and run with it. I'm okay with it as long as you do it right. But he could really do that way, and it kind of plays off in some ways the way that what they tried to do with DDP, with the whole self-help guru kind of thing. If they did almost a send-up and parody of that and integrated the elements, like I said, from the Funhouse, kind of did it that way, you might be able to pull it off if done correctly. And that's the whole thing, is having the right material and the right execution. But that's with anything in life, But hey, let's see. What else we got? I mean, I think I've probably spoken about the whole Wyatt 6 ad nauseum, and I've heard the theme song. I like it. I know people have called it new metalish. I think it's more thrash metalish ish. And then maybe that's why I like it, because I was a gigantic thrash metal fan back in, the 90s, 80s and 90s. So maybe that's why I kind of like it. Certain individuals, I think anything that they don't like, they call it new metal, which is kind of shows a little bit of lack of creativity and, flaw on their part. But, what do we got going on? SmackDown. And, like I said, a ton happening, man, in WWE last week. CM Punk opening the show. And we kind of have hints at a possibility of a Bloodline Punk feud. Paul Heyman interrupts Punk in the ring, asking him to take him with him. Is Paul Heyman leaving the Bloodline? Does this foreshadow to the return of Roman Reigns? Because Reigns is going to take Paul back, and he's going to come back as a returning champion and just wipe out the Bloodline. The only thing that bothers me now is they have so many people integrated with the Bloodline here. Now that we have Jacob Fatu making his debut and whatnot, which happened later on. How do we, who's going to be with Roman? It's going to have to be the Usos. Usos are going to have to reunite, and that's still now a mismatch, But I'm looking forward to down the road when Roman comes back and the Usos reunite, because I think they've milked this Jey Uso run as much as they possibly can. I'm tired of the Jey Uso thing. I'm sorry. He's a pair of sunglasses and a catchphrase at this point, and doing his little hands in the air thing at the beginning of the match. I'm just tired of it. They really need to reunite him and his brother soon. They've been keeping Jimmy, it seems like, off TV. Like I said, Heyman had asked CM Punk to take him with him. I don't know what's going on. I think it's my allergies. I can't speak today. Sorry. I guess that's every week. Welcome to Tennessee. We had Chelsea Green winning Money in the Bank qualification match. I am so happy about this. I really want to see more of Chelsea Green, because she is so good on the mic, so good in the ring. I like her with Piper Niven, because Piper gives her that element of toughness. A big girl that can beat people up, and Chelsea can play that kind of chicken shit heel. But I think now it's time for her moment to kind of shine outside of that, because they gave Niven a little bit, I don't want to say a run, but they gave her a spotlight in Glasgow. So now it's time for Chelsea to shine and show what she can do, and I think that's going to be a lot. And if they end up even putting the belt on her, I wouldn't mind that at all, because I think she can deliver some great matches and some great promos. I'm real happy about that. We had a backstage segment with some during an interview, they had some pounding on a large garage door. Some shocked reactions from the people there, and upon raising of the garage door, we had a great visual of Drew McIntyre standing over CM Punk. And keep in mind, this was in Chicago. They had the SmackDown. Great image, just raising up. Man, they do some great visuals on WWE. AEW should take some notes on some of the stuff they're doing. And just great storytelling, great cinematic storytelling. He then proceeds to put Punk on his shoulders in the fireman's carry and carry him into the ring. How this man made it to the ring and how he made it out of the arena is beyond me. How this happened in Chicago. I'm guessing they had more security present, which is what Paul Heyman alluded to earlier in the CM Punk promo. I get, is Drew back? Did he quit? That was a short resignation. Gets into it, going to the back with Nick Aldis. A little bit of pushing, shoving. I love this interaction. I love it. I think Nick Aldis has been great. I love him in this GM role. I'd like to see him do a little bit of ring work too. You know, I threw this idea out there a while ago, but who would like to see like a Survivor Series event with Nick Aldis versus Pierce for some kind of advantage? I don't know. Maybe they can use it for their advantage. Maybe do a show previous to the Survivor Series. We'll go back to the Raw versus SmackDown format and do something with that. Once again, like I said, another idea I'm just kind of throwing out there. But yeah, great visual, great storytelling. Once again, though, kind of the matches have been kind of secondary at this point, and we're doing the matches for qualification for Money in the Bank, which once again is leading to a storyline. Great storytelling. Once again, everything on this show was a means to an end to tell a story, and we had RKO, Tama Tonga, Carmelo Hayes in a match with Carmelo advancing, which kind of surprised me. I'm pretty surprised at that one. KO, Grayson Waller, and Andrade in another pre-qualification match with Andrade advancing. Interesting. So there's going to be some crazy high spots in this match, and it seems like they're bringing a lot of the mid-carders / kind of B guys into this with Andrade. Carmelo's still brand new to the roster. Kind of surprising there. Kind of surprising they didn't have some of the bigger names advance, but these are going to be the guys who are the spot monkeys and kind of make those crazy Money in the Bank moments. So interesting. Hopefully they'll have at least one more kind of A guy, unless they're trying to advance some of those guys up to kind of main event status. I don't see either one of those guys kind of doing that at this point, but so be it. Once again, we had a Jacob Fatu debuting, and immediately this guy looks so much like so much more of a threat than Solo Sikoa appears to be, and that's a problem for WWE. I did like the little smile that Solo did when it looked like he was cornered, and then Fatu comes out and just wrecks everybody. Very nice. Very nice. That was well done. One of the few things he's been doing well lately, because I haven't liked his work a whole lot lately, especially as the head of the table, which, if you notice, Heyman was very careful with that, not to call him the high what's the word I'm looking for? The big guy. Yeah. The high chief. He didn't call him, the high chief or any of that. He called him the head of the table. So there's still a little bit of hesitance on Heyman's part to acknowledge him fully. Great shows. Great stuff. WWE is really firing on all cylinders right now. Like I said, the main concern a lot of people have is the Wyatt Six thing. Stop, please. It's good stuff. It will be. I'm sure it will be. And if it does go a little off course, I'm sure Triple H will right the ship, because we got some very real compelling storylines in there too with Bo and whatnot, and his obvious relation to Bray. So hang on. It's gonna be great, I think. And tonight is gonna be another great show, I bet. But hey, unfortunately, I've got about 3 minutes left to kind of wrap things up. So let's go to shout outs to CrushingKayfabe.com. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify. Check out, you can purchase merchandise through a store, etc. crushingkayfabe.com, and check us out on Patreon. Become a patron for only $1 a month, and you can get the shows ad-free, whatnot, and help keep these lights on. What else we got going on? Check us out. Excuse me. Wow. Excuse me. Check us out on at Then and Now, I should say, and check us out there. We got some merchandise out, and I will be playing their anniversary gig coming up. They always have an anniversary every year, and that should be in August, but I don't have the official date yet, so stay tuned for that. And Wednesday, I will be on the Peter Pino show. I'll be on PPRN. That should be. Let me see what time. Because I'm getting confused here. I think between Central and Eastern time. Let me see what I can find out here, because I have a message from the producer. But yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I listened to the last week's show. It was real good with Jonathan 6A and whatnot. Let's see. It's live via Zoom. Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern, so it'll be 6:30 for Central Time, obviously. At coming up on the 26th, so 7:30 Eastern, so it'll be 6:30 Central Time. But make sure to tune into that and give them a shout out. And that's about it. Prayers going out to the Ukraine, going out to Israel, Once again, thank you guys for tuning into the show, and God bless.